Hello guys, welcome back. So today my video I'm going to talk about quadratic function chapter 2. In quadratic function there are quite a lot. I think this chapter is quite longer compared to others in the form 4 chapters. So comparing to other chapter, for this chapter might have a longer video, I guess. So for today, I'm not covering everything but just one part in the quadratic function, which is the equation. We are going to talk only about quadratic equation. So in the SPM level, the maximum they will go for quadratic questions is finding the equation, roots. These are the maximum type of questions they like to ask in SPM syllabus. So quadratic, the first part I'm going to cover is the equation. It's very clear. Equation. What is an equation? Equation, what is the characteristic, the criteria that you need to have for an equation? First thing, you need to have an equal. You need to have an equal. Here, something equal to something. So for quadratic, they have a lot of type of equation, but we have a standard because there's a lot. The mathematician decided to simplify and standardize into one equation, and it's very easy. It's just ax squared plus bx plus c and equals to 0. This is how the mathematicians standardize the very complicated type of quadratic equation. They standardize, become a general equation. That's called the general equation. So when you talk about quadratic equation, we will always go with the general, the basic, the pure from the equation. So no matter how they give you equation, first thing first, you need to have this general. If they didn't give you like this pattern, you make sure bring the equation you derive until you get this type of equation. So in quadratic equation, there are few main characters that you need to know. The first is a. Second is the b. Third is the c. And the maximum power for quadratic equation is quartic, my bad, sorry, is square. X squared is the maximum. If you see a x cube, then it is not a quadratic, it is a cubic. If you see x4, then it's a quartic, which I said just now. Okay, so you need to have a, b, and c, and equation must have a equal. Don't forget that. And equals to what? It's always equals to 0. Always standardized equals to 0. So far, okay. And in this quadratic equation, what is the thing that you're gonna find? You will find the x value. What is the x? How are you going to know the value of x? The unknown that you need to find. And there are quite a few ways to find. First, I'm sure you have learned this method, which is calling the factorizing method. You will do factorization like pressing calculator, get equals to 0, x minus or plus 2, x minus 2, then you get your x value, which is 2, and your x is negative 2. Sorry, here should be negative 2. So this is called factorizing. You factorize this. Or another way that easier to understand is calculator. It's just press in calculator, you get the x value, right? Another method which you haven't, maybe you got heard in school, or maybe, yeah, you might heard this. It's called quadratic formula. This formula is what you apply in math. Not only that, you have the third method, completing the square. It's very long, so to make it simple, I use a short form CTS. CTS, completing the square. And in your Addmaths, you only will learn these two. Factorizing and calculator you will use in modern maths. You will learn in modern maths, if I'm not wrong, the first chapter of your modern maths. You will learn how to calculate quadratic formula functions using the calculator, pressing, factorizing. So you will not learn that again in this chapter. Instead, you will learn quadratic formula and completing the square. So quadratic formula, the word itself says there is a formula. So you have the formula. And don't have to worry, you don't need to memorize the formula. It is given in the formula sheet of the exam paper, of the Addmaths exam paper. So when you get the Addmaths exam paper, the formula is given. You don't have to worry. Okay, the formula is given. But the completing the square also have formula, but it is not given, so you have to memorize. So quadratic formula to find the value of x. This thing I put it up, bring up, okay. Negative b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. Done. This is the formula that they will give you. Don't have to worry, you'll see exactly this formula. So what is the b, a and c? It's here. Maybe I should use different color. What color should I choose this time? Okay, ignore this, take this. So the b here is come from this b, from the equation. You have to take from the equation and put it. B, same, your ac, and the a at the bottom. So you just need to take from the equation that you get, from the general equation, and you put inside the formula, then you press your calculator, tada, you get your answer. So this is quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is not so difficult, it's very straightforward. You just need to key inside the formula and then you get your answer. Next, completing the square. Completing the square is the most important method in this chapter, because this completing the square you will not only apply for this part only, but for after this a lot of time you will use completing the square. In this chapter, the famous part, the memang very highlight in quadratic function is completing the square. They like to ask completing the square because from completing the square you get a lot of information. That's why it's very famous. So my main focus for today, mainly I will focus on completing the square, and that I also will do quadratic formula. It's just substituting to the formula. It's not too difficult. But completing the square, I will mainly focus because that is very important for this chapter. So let's go to the completing the square. How are you going to do completing the square? So let's go to the first example. So this is the first example. Oh, by the way, I forgot to put equals to 0. Did I do the same thing for here? No. Okay. So this is the first example. And I'm going to solve this using completing the square method. CTS. Okay. And how? First thing, there are two conditions. For this method, there are two conditions you need to know. First, make your a equals to 1. That's the first condition. Maybe I should write here first lah. Easier. So completing the square, first thing, make your a equals to 1. What the a, I mean this thing must be equals to 1. That a have to be equals to 1. And then only you can move to the next step. The next step, substitute inside this formula. After you make your a equals to 1, put inside this formula. Maybe my handwriting is not too clear. Plus c. This is the formula. Substitute inside this. In this formula, you realize there is no a. You only will have b and c. Oh shit, sorry. Because the reason why your a you already put equals 1. So you don't have to put inside this formula because it's a equals to 1. So you can just ignore the a. So substitute inside this formula. So completing the square, this is the two thing that you have to do. Once you do, after that, easy peasy. So clear. Now let's go to the question. This is the first two things that you need to know. So first thing, your a has to be equals to 1 in your completing the square. So let's check. The general formula goes like this: a x square plus b x plus c equals 0. So you need to make sure identify what is your a, what is your b, what is your c first. So in this case, the question is very nice to you. The a here is nothing. Nothing means, don't forget, there's always an invisible 1 in front of the quadratic equation. Always there's an invisible 1 in front of the x squared there. And your b is negative 3. Don't only say 3. If there's a minus, consider that also. And your c, negative 5. So you got your a equals to 1, your b equals to negative 3, and your c equals to negative 5. And your 0 equals to 0, okay? So now, in this case, the first step, you don't have to worry because the a, the given in the question itself, it's already equals to 1. So you actually can ignore this step because it's already done for you. Now the second step, substituting inside. So now you directly can substitute. The formula is x plus b over 2 plus c, b over 2. And don't forget there's a square. Completing the square. So you need to have the square. Don't forget the square. The square is so important. So let's substitute inside this formula. So I've read the equation again now. Looks nicely. I know my a equals to 1, b negative 3, c negative 5. Now put like this, exactly the same. Follow like how I do in the second this thing. exactly follow this thing, copy paste. And don't forget, oh sorry, the C is this number there. And don't forget to put equals 0. I forgot to put equals 0. My bad. Alright, so now let's substitute inside. So your x, put x. Your b, what is your b? Negative 3, right? So your b is negative 3, huh? Put negative 3. Over 2. 2. Square, square. Minus, minus. And b again, negative 3. So negative 3. Over 2. Square. And your c is negative 5. So put negative 5. And now what you have to do, take your calculator. Now you don't have work. Your work is just press the calculator and the calculator will do it all for you. So make sure your MS exam, your calculator have to function very well. And now what you have to do is just press this entire thing in your calculator. Press the entire thing. So negative 3 over 2 square and put the negative in front bracket and minus 5, so you get negative 29 over 4. So I write this thing again, x, sorry, and plus negative 3 over 2. I actually can put it in this way. And this thing I press in calculator the entire thing and I get negative 29 over 4. This entire thing, if you press in calculator, you will get negative 29 over 4. Okay, and now I think after this shouldn't be an issue for you. You need to find your x. That is the aim of doing this by using completing the square method. So as you know, the basic principle of mathematics, if you want to find an unknown, make sure the other than the surrounding of the unknown, the x thing, you have to put another side, which means to another side lah. So the negative 29 over 4 put here lah. Bring everything to the other side, to the 0 side. So then you will left with x alone. That's the aim, because you need to find your x. So when you bring it here, negative, bring there become positive 29 over 4. And then this entire thing, bring it down, x, and plus minus, you will get minus 3 over 2. And then what you do, there's a square, bring there become square root. So when you bring there become square root, it become plus minus 29 over 4. So x minus 3 over 2. And when there's a plus minus, I do told you when you see that there is two things plus minus, the easier is split into 2. So bring one here, bring one here. You can see that. So the x minus 3 over 2, 1 equals to the positive 1, 29 over 4. Another one more, x minus 3 over 2 equals to the negative 1 and square root 29 over 4. And find your x, square root 29 over 4 plus 3 over 2 minus 3 over 2, bring here plus. Same for this, negative 29 over 4 minus 3 over 2 become your plus 3 over 2. And there you go, you find the x, press your calculator, square root 29 over 4, and then plus 3 over 2, you will get 4.192 and 58 something. It's quite a long. And I usually take 4 decimal place, 4.192558, so you round off becomes 6. But depends on the question. If the question say give until 3 decimal place, then you give until 3 lor. If 5, 5, 4, 4, I usually take 4 because the more decimal, the more accurate your answer. So yeah, that's how I do. So do the same thing for the next one. Press in your calculator, you will get negative 1.19258. 58, so round off becomes 6 lah, 56. So yeah, I'm done. Here you go, I find the x value. So this is how you do the completing the square. First thing, your a should be equals to 1, and then sub insert the formula that I give you just now. Solve the behind part, which is this part. But the very first step, make sure your equation must be in the general form. This is your general form, the standardized form. So make sure you bring into that and then identify what is your A, what is your B, what is your C. And after that, follow the step. Make sure your A should be equals to 1, and then sub inside the formula and solve the one side, and after that is just your normal mathematic algebra. You have to find your x, so you bring everything to the other side, make sure it equals to the x, so you will find the x value. So yeah, here you go, we finish with example 1. Now let's go to the next one, example 2. I need to bring this here so they don't block. Alright, so this one, first thing first, identify whether it is in the general form or not. So your x squared plus 4x minus 1 equals 0. Identify whether, make sure positive first, whether it is in a general form or not. Ax plus bx plus c equals to 0. And then identify your a, b, and c. So here, if there is nothing in front the x squared, there is always an invisible 1. So your a here equals to 1. Your b here equals to 4. And your c here equals to negative 1. Don't forget the negative. Student common mistake is ignoring the negative. So after you identify your a, b, and c, so in this case, using the completing the square method also, your a must be equals to 1. That's your first step. So in this case, your a is already equals to 1. So you don't have to bother about the first step. Since it's already done for you, you can actually move on to the next step. So your next step is this: substitute inside this formula. So let's substitute. X plus b is 4 over 2 square minus b, again it's 4 over 2 square and plus the c. Your c is now -1. So -1. This is equals to 0. And the same step after this. This thing, entire thing, press in your calculator. Just press in your calculator. So 4 divided by 2, you get 2. 2 square is 4. So -4. You minus 1, you get -5. So this thing, you press in your calculator, and the calculator will give you answer -5. And equals to 0 equals to 0 lah. And this thing, the 4 over 2 actually can be simplified. So 4 divided by 2 is actually 2. 2 square minus 5 equals to 0. And then the same thing. Bring your x one side. So the remaining all move to the other side one by one. So -5 bring there become +5. And square bring to the other side square root. Bring your square first because it's bracket. So when it's bracket, the square have to be solved first using the Addmaths. So x plus 2, the 5 there, don't forget square. When you shift to the other side, you have to put a plus minus. And when you see a plus minus, I do told you split into 2 parts, easier to solve. So when you split into 2 parts, one you can say x plus 2 equals to square root 5. Another more, x plus 2 equals to square root, but don't forget there's a negative square root 5. And then here square root 5, you plus 2 bring here -2. Here is negative square root 5 plus 2 bring here -2 also, and you're going to get your answer. So square root 5 and you -2 is 0.2361. Here negative square root 5 and you -2, -4.2361. And there you go, we have find the value of your x. So this is how you do completing the square method, but this is kind of easy lah. Let's move on to a bit difficult. I don't think so that's difficult. Actually, there's no any difficult question here. Yeah, actually example 3 and example 4 seems to be the same thing, and I don't want to do that. I didn't pick the difficult question this time. Hi. Okay, wait a minute. Let's do this question using completing the square. There's a reason why I choose this question. So this time I'm going to use completing the square. And when you see the completing the square, the same 2 steps have to be done first. First thing first, I'm repeating it again and again so you remember. A must be equals to 1. And your second step, x plus b over 2 square minus b over 2 square plus c. This is the second step, you substitute inside. So first step, your a should be equals to 1. But before that, the very first step must be bring into general form. Actually, this is already in general form. As you can see, the ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. And you can see your a is equals to 3, your b is equals to -4, and your c equals to -6. But this time, your a is equals to 3, not equals to 1. So what you should do, how are you going to make your a equals to 3 to 1? Are you going to -2? Is that possible? How? Any idea? So how are you going to do? It's so easy, guys. Here you go. If let's just say I have a number 5, and if I want to make it 1, what should I do to the 5? 5 is not just 5 on its own. There is always over 1, isn't it? So 5 to 1 use 5. But now, if I want to make the 5 bring to 1, I should divide by 5. So 5 divided by 5, I will get 1. Same if let's just say I have 10. Generally it's over 1. 10 over 1 is 10. But if I want to make it to 1, I should divide by its own number. So I divide by 10. So 10 divided by 10 is 1. Same for this. Your A is 3. So how I make it 1? I divide by 3 lor. Then I get 1. So I should divide. So if I divide by 3, I will not only divide the A but the entire thing. Okay? So 3, I divide by 3. And the negative 4, don't forget divide 3 because you'll divide the entire thing. And don't forget there's an x. And minus 6, don't forget to divide by 3. 0, also you will divide by 3 because you divide 3 everything. You divide everything. You actually dividing the entire equation. That's how you do. You cannot just divide A. It's not fair for the B and C and for the 0. If you give 5 ringgit, you give 5 ringgit to everybody, right? Same thing lah. You divide 3 for everybody. So that's fair enough for the others also. So now you press your calculator. 3 divide 3, what do you get? X squared. Negative 4 over 3x. If you press in your calculator, you get decimal, right? So if decimal number, you just maintain negative 4 over 3. You just maintain the fraction. Negative 6 divided 3 is negative 2. 0 divided by 3, 0. And now you see everything here is already divided by 3. And you also realize something, that your A is already equals to 1. You will see this still in the same general form, right? You can see your x squared. You can see your x here. And you can see the c, which is a number here. Not only that, you also have completely take away the 3 from the A. And now your A is just 1. And there's nothing here, I just put 1 lah. So now you're done with your first step. Ta-da, finish. Now your second step lah. Second step shouldn't be that difficult. Substitute inside. This is your B, this is your C, and don't forget. So substitute inside x plus, but wait a minute. Here is B, but which B did you take? And there's also C. Which B and C you will take? The first one or the second ax squared plus bx plus c? The first one or the second one? Which one you will take? Take the latest one, the simplest version, because you already divide 3 everything, so and you get a new one, so you have to use the new one. Because that's the reason why you divide the 3, isn't it? Because you need to get your a1, and from that equation you substitute. So that's the reason why you divide 3. So you use that new latest equation. Don't use the first one at the beginning one, and then everything wrong already. use the second equation that you find after you divide, after you make your a equals to 1, use that equation. Because the reason why you do that is to actually substitute inside lah, so you need to use that one lah. What's the point of finding the new one? So now your b is -4/3. Don't take 4, it's wrong. Don't take -4, it's -4/3. So your b is -4/3 and over 2 square minus again -4/3 over 2 square and plus your c, which is -2. Take everything from the new equation, the new general form, the new general equation that you find. Again, I'm saying take from the new one. Don't take the old one. The old one, just ignore, throw in rubbish. Okay. You will never use again the old one because you ignore that thing. So now, what do you do? Same thing. Press your calculator. After this, the method is the same. This entire thing, press in your calculator, get the answer. So -4/3 divided by 2, how much? -4. Press your calculator. You don't give work to the brain. Brain can make mistake, but calculator will never make mistake. -4/9 and -2. So I'm getting -22/9. And this thing also actually you can simplify already. -4/3, if you divide by 2, you can actually simplify. You get -2/3. So -2/3, plus minus you get minus, and yeah, this thing I can put here. And your -22/9 shifts to the other side. Now the process is the same, no different. And then square bring to the other side becomes square root. And when you bring the square root, don't forget to bring the plus minus together with it, because when there's a square root, there's always a plus minus. Oh, looks like I don't have space. Maybe I should bring this thing even more down. So split two parts when you have plus minus. So 1x minus 2/3 equals to the positive 22/9. Another more, x minus 2/3 equals to the negative 22/9, and then find your x. So 22/9 plus 2/3. So what's the x value? And also for this one also same thing, plus 2/3 minus 2/3 bring that plus 2/3. So now you just have to press calculator again. 22/9 and you plus 2/3, you should get about 2.2301. Same for this. And you plus 2/3, negative 0.8968. So there you go, you find the x value. So this is how you do through completing the square method. Okay, so far I hope there's no problem with completing the square. But we will still do another one more question, almost similar like this. So I will take the example 4. Okay, and then we do quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is so easy, like just put inside the formula everything. You don't have, there's no any specific condition, but completing the square there is. Okay, so example 4, you realize it's not the normal pattern like how we see compared to the just now questions. All of the previous question that we did already given in the standard form, which is already equals to 0, but this one, it's not equals to 0, it's equals to something. So it's not in a general form. So if when it's not in the general form, the first thing you have to do is actually bring it to the general form. You do what, something something, bring to general form first. That's the first thing you have to do. So let's do, guys. So the 8, you need to make it equals to 0. So what do? The 8 you bring to the other side lah. So 2x squared minus 3x, and the positive 8 when you bring to the other side become minus 8. And then here is nothing, so it's 0. Okay. So now you already bring into the quadratic equation, a general quadratic equation where you have your a x squared plus bx plus c, and this is equals to 0. So now using the completing the square, we should find the x value. Again, the first thing, your a should be equals to 1, and then your second step, substitute inside this formula x plus b over 2 square minus b over 2 square plus c. And don't forget, guys, this formula it's not given in the formula sheet, so this one have to memorize. Okay, this one have to memorize, no choice. So now let's go for next step. So you realize in this case a is equals to 2, your b is equals to negative 3, and your c equals to negative 8. The b and c can just ignore because there's nothing to do with them, but your a is so important. As your first step, the first condition, in order to solve using the completing the square, your a must be equals to 1. But in this case, your a equals to 2, so what you should do? You have to divide with 2. So when you divide, you're not only dividing the a only, you have to be fair for the others also. So you divide to everything. So the equation there, you divide by 2. So 2 divided by 2, x squared minus 3 divided by 2, x minus 8 divided by 2, and 0 also divided by 2. And when you do that, 2 divided by 2, you get x squared. And 3 over 2, if you press calculator, if you get decimal, maintain in fraction. Just put 3 over 2. And 8 divided by 2, don't forget the negative, so negative 4. And 0 divided by 2 is 0. And now you can actually see the new quadratic equation, which is actually quite nice. You can see a x squared plus b x plus c equals to 0, a new one. And in this one, the best part is actually your a is already equals to 1, and your b is negative 3 over 2, your c is negative 4. So here is 1. If there's nothing, I write 1. So done with the first step. And now second step, just substitute inside the formula. So x b is now negative 3 over 2. So put negative 3 over 2, put a bracket, and then over 2. Same like just now. And minus b over 2 again. This thing is the same thing. And then the plus minus only different. If plus, the another side minus. Again, negative 3 over 2 square 2 and then square, and your c is plus minus 4, and this is equals to 0. So what you have to do now, key in inside the calculator this everything, you key in and then you get the answer. So just key in negative 3/2 divided by 2, and then don't forget to square it. If you didn't square, then problem also. So you get negative 73/16 equals to 0. This entire thing, you press calculator, you get negative 73/16, right? And this thing also actually can use calculator. The numbers one you actually can use calculator. So negative 3/2 divided by 2 actually is negative 3/4. And the negative 73/16 after this, bring to the other side, shift to the other side, minus become plus. And square, bring the square root, x minus 3/4, but you're not only bringing the square, you also have to bring the plus minus, don't forget this thing, and then split into two parts, easy to solve. So x minus 3/4 equals to square root 73/16, x minus 3/4 equals to negative square root 73/16, and square root 73/16 plus 3/4 plus 3/4, same thing, and then find your x. So square root 73/16. By right, you should be able to press calculator, and you should know how to press 2.8886, and then you get 000, so just ignore the zeros. Same for this, negative square root 73/16, and you plus 4. So you get negative 1.386. 0 all ignore. 0 then you need to write already. Enough. So this is your x value, done. We are fine ready. So completing the square, I'm sure it's not too difficult. As long as you get the step right, it's easy. So now I'm going to move on to the quadratic function questions. Quadratic function, trust me guys, it's not too difficult. Because of that, it's not so commonly asked in SPM question. But anyhow, it's in your syllabus, so the chances to ask is also still there. So yeah, we still have to do. So quadratic function, all you need to know is the formula. Quadratic formulas is x equals to negative b plus minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. And don't worry, this formula is also given in the formula sheet of the exam paper, so you don't have to memorize it. If you want, you can go ahead, it's not wrong. So as you know, first thing, for all these questions in quadratic function in this chapter, the first step, whatever is it, bring into a general form first. That's the very first step in this chapter. So x squared minus 3x minus 2 equals to 0. So first thing, you need to analyze first whether is this in quadratic equation or not, the general form or not. The answer is yes, because you can see your ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Your a is nothing there, which means 1. Your b is negative 3, and your c is negative 2, and 0 equals to 0, and you have x squared there, so this confirms it's the general form. And now what you have to do, key in inside the formula, that's it. X equals sorry, my equals not straight, okay, not straight, negative, but what's your b? This is your b, so your b is negative 3, okay, put inside here negative 3, plus minus b again, negative 3 square, minus 4, and what's your a? A is here 1, put 1, and your c is negative 2, and put the negative 2, make sure extend the square root over 2a, and your a is 1, put 1, and all you have to do is press your calculator. Negative negative become positive, plus minus negative, this entire thing I just press in your calculator. So press in your calculator, negative 3 square minus 4 times 1 times negative 2, you get square root 17, and over 2. And as I told you, remember, if you see a plus minus, split into 2. So 1, your x is 3 plus square root 17 over 2. Another one more is x equals to 3 minus square root 17 over 2. And now press your calculator. So 3 plus square root 17 divided by 2 is 3.561. Same for this, but press minus instead of plus. The rest is the same. Negative 0.562. So this is the x value done. So quadratic function is not too difficult, right? It's just substituting inside the formula. So let's do another question, just to confirm that you betul-betul understand this chapter. So example 4, x squared minus 5x minus 3. Always the very first step, make sure are they in the general form or not. That is the first thing that you need to look at. So x squared minus 5x minus 3 equals to 0. So here actually they are in general form, because you can see the pattern ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, and here your a is equals to 1, your b is negative 5, your c is negative 3. Now put inside the formula negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Alright, so now let's go to the next step. It's actually substituting inside the formula. Let's substitute, guys. So negative b is negative 5 plus minus b is negative 5 square minus 4, a is 1, c is negative 3 over 2a, a is 1. And now negative negative cut, you get 5 plus minus this entire thing, press in your calculator, negative 5 squared is 25 minus, actually plus 12, square root 37. over 2. And you see a plus minus split into two parts. X is equals to 5 plus square root 37 over 2. Another one more, x is 5 minus square root 37 over 2. And then press your calculator, get the final answer. 5 plus square root 37 divided by 2, you get 5.541314. And another one more, 5 minus square root 37 divided by 2 is negative 0.54134. So there you go. Quadratic formula is way too easy, right? Yeah. You just have to press inside the calculator. This thing, use calculator, get the answer. You get plus 37. And I think we're done with this example 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are another 2 more questions. Okay, this one we do quadratic formula. And this one we will do completing the square. Okay. And one more thing I also want to tell you, no matter which method you use, all three methods, which is the factorization using the calculator and the quadratic formula and completing the square, all these 3 methods will give you the same answer. Different method, but the final answer same only. You don't have to worry. So let's do the example 2 first. Quadratic formula, this thing. So first thing you need to bring into a general form. So this question, when I see this equation, they are not in the general form. So first step, bring into a general form. So x squared minus 3x equals to 5. So what you have to do, bring the 5 to the other side lah. So when you bring here, become x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals to 0. And after here, I already see the general form, which is the ax squared plus bx plus my c equals to 0. Here you go, my a is nothing here is 1, b is negative 3, c is negative 5. Nothing here means 1, and then sub inside the formula. Here's the formula, negative b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Just in case if you forgot, I write here so you actually can see and you remember. So x, negative b is negative 3 plus minus, and then again negative 3 square minus 4, a is 1, c is negative 5 over the 2a, a is 1, and then press your calculator, 3 plus minus, so negative 3 square is 9, negative 4 times negative 5 is positive 20, so 9 plus 20 is 29 over 2. 2 times 1 is 2, and here plus minus split into 2 parts. One is x equals to 3 plus square root 29 divided by 2. Another one more, x is equals to 3 minus square root 29 divided by 2. So here you go, 3 plus square root 29 divided by 2. So I get 4.192526. I round off it, because after 5 is 8, so I round off becomes 6. So 3 minus square root 29 divided by 2. Press in your calculator. The calculator will do everything for you. So 1.1925 also round off becomes 6. And here you go, I find the x. This one is too fast, right, compared to completing the square. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Next question. Here you go. I think this will be the last question too. Alright, here. Completing the square. So, completing the square, there's first two steps. But the very first step, don't forget, bring it to the general form, okay? The very first step, please don't forget your general form. Anything in this chapter always start from the general form. That's why it's so important. They will introduce you in the beginning of the chapter, which means you will use until this chapter you finish studying this chapter. So there's first two step is your a must be equals to 1. I mean, not step lah, it's like the condition. And your second one is the formula. You substitute inside the formula. So yeah, and here you go. This 3x squared minus 5x minus 7 equals to 0 is the general form. Yes, I agree, but it's not as the general form that we want, which our a must be equals to 1. It's not equals to 1, so we don't want this general form, so we create our own using this. How? It's the same thing lah. I already told you, if there's a 3, what do you do? Divide 3 lah. So if you divide by 3, the 3 divided by 3, everything have to be divided by 3. It should be fair for other numbers also. So 3 divided by 3, it's 1. So 1 we usually don't write, because whatever times 1, like x times 1 is x, 10 times 1 is 10, 20 times 1 is 20. So the one that is just like nothing, so we don't write. 0 divided by 3 is 0, okay? And now substitute inside the formula, and from here onwards this is your new general formula, okay? Your a is nothing means equals to 1, your b is negative 5 over 3, and your c is negative 7 over 3. So your a here is equals to 1 now, don't forget. And now put inside the formula x plus, what's your b? Negative 5 over 3 over the 2 and the square, minus negative 5 over 3, and don't forget b over 2, so over 2 don't forget, plus the c is negative 7 over 3, and equals to 0. And here is all you need to do is press your calculator. After this, the work is given to calculator, so don't have to worry. So press in your calculator. So negative 5 over 3 divided by 2. And then don't forget to square that. And then minus 7 over 3. So you get negative 109 over 36 equals to 0. And this one, negative 5 over 3 divided by 2. Also press calculator, this thing, because it's a bit complex, so make it simplify easy. So x minus 5 over 6 square, and the negative 109 over 36 bring to the other side. So become positive. Negative bring to the other side become positive, and square bring to the other side square root. So x minus 5 over 6. The square root, don't forget, comes with plus minus. And here, split it into two parts. And now you can solve x minus 5 over 6 equals to the positive 1, which is 109 over 36. And the x minus 5 over 6 equals to the negative 1, 109 over 36. And then here you go, bring the minus 5 over 6 to the other side also, so become plus 5 over 6. Same for this, minus 5 over 6, bring here, become plus 5 over 6. And all you have to do is press the calculator. When you press the calculator, you will get square root 109 over 36 plus with 5 over 6. You'll get 2.5734. And for this part, pull out negative square root 109 over 36. And you press plus 5 over 6 in the calculator, you will get negative 0.9067. And there you go, I find the x. So this is how we do completing the square. So I'm done with the first part of the chapter, which is the quadratic equation. Today whatever we do is all about the equation and how you find the unknown, which is the x lah. The most common is the x. So how you find the value of x when there's a quadratic equation, how you solve it. You solve for the x, so you find the x value. And in Addmaths, you will use quadratic formula and completing the square. And I already explained to you about the quadratic formula, how you use it, and also the completing the square. Factorizing and calculator is teach in the modern maths. It's not in the Addmaths syllabus, but sometimes you will use it also. So that's all for today. If you like my way of teaching, don't forget to give a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. And if you find out anything problem with my teaching, anything that you feel like you're not okay, not comfortable, didn't understand, not clear, let me know in the comment box also, yeah. Alright, thank you. Bye.